because people can get so wrapped up into politics that they lose their identity and who they really are and how to treat the person that's right next to them, no matter what. See, I'm going on a tangent.
No, go.
Listen, this is my frustration, especially during the politics thing. And I hope you don't, this is cool. But the Father has called us to love one another. They said that they will know who we are.
Come on.
According to the way that we love one another.
Let's go.
Listen, one another. This is not even talking about people in the world. One another.
Yeah.
How I love you. If I love you well, they're gonna be like, what the heck is going on?
Exactly.
A Puerto Rican guy and a black guy, they're very good friends and they love each other. Like, what the heck is happening here?
Right.
That's how they know. And my frustration during that time was they were letting their view, their political view, or whatever you want to call it, step in front of that commandment to the point where, oh, I can treat you like this because you're on the other side. You're on the other side of the argument. And in reality, we're not from here. We are Daniel in Babylon. Bro, we are Daniel in Babylon, bro. So we have to I've had to teach them, and we're going to continue to teach every time the election comes up. We have to do a teaching on this because we want to get ahead of it and just be like, hey, yeah, it's good to be passionate about, certain topics and certain laws and all that 100%, But as soon as it becomes to the point where you are able and you're willing to fight your brother for it, fight your sister for it, call them nasty names for it, then that is not showing the love of Jesus Christ. And I should be able to sit next to you, have a disagreement, and say, hey, I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's it. That should be the end of it. Oh, you don't believe with me? Okay, cool. Is that gonna determine our salvation? No? Okay, cool. We're good. I'll see you on Sunday. Let's worship the Lord together. Right? And that was always my frustration with that whole thing. And that's one thing that I believe the church we have to do a better job, because we were at the front end of things doing it the wrong way. And it's so sad.
I think a lot of times, and I'm actually only going to talk to the Christians on this, we cannot put anything in front of Jesus.
Come on.
Nothing can go ahead of him.
Yeah.
And me personally, I'm not going to argue over two political candidates who I may never get a chance to meet.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know you.
And lose the relationship of someone who's close to me.
Come on. Or maybe someone that's not even close to you that may be able to have a relationship with you.
And see, that was the next piece
Bro,
of this.
You can bring somebody to Christ by how you treat them, even if you have different views.
There are so many people who only get a glimpse of me, and I'm talking about me personally,
Come on.
through Facebook and Instagram right now.
Bro.
I have noticed lately that I've had guests on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that the people who follow them have started checking out my stories and the things that I post, because you can see it, especially when you have your account set up a certain kind of way. So in my head, if I have you for 7 seconds and that's all I got,
come on,
let me give you something impactful.
That's it, man.
Or, and I think you and I talked about this too. Sometimes God has literally told me, just go on there and crack that joke and get off there.
And bounce.
Yeah. Make them laugh and leave.
That's it.
And I do that a lot.
Come on. That's it.
Because a lot of times I've just picked up on this. Like, there's people who've been watching my stories because they follow people who I follow.
That's it.
And I'm just like, if you see me arguing about this side or that side, I just lost that opportunity.
Come on.
Because you're not subscribed to me.
Yeah.
You're just, you came across me because of someone else.
Exactly.
So I want to represent Christ even in those seconds.
Yeah.
Let alone minutes, hours, Sunday fellowship, saturate nights.
Yeah.
We have got to stop putting things above Christ.
And if you want to know what I believe, come talk to me. Come talk to me.
I'm not a hard person to find.
That's it. You know where I work. Come on. I'm here. All the time. All the time. You know I'm here.
I don't work here. I'm here all the
And
time.
you're always here.
I'm here right now and I don't work here. Pastor Ross walked past that door and just glared at me. I'm going to hear it about this.
Yeah.
This is
He's like, I don't want this guy.
What is this guy doing in our church right now? This is paid staff time only.
Oh my gosh, bro.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It is not worth it.
Yeah,
Because
not at all.
see, Everybody who sees me fighting and arguing on Facebook, you know what I just guaranteed? They're not coming to any church. Done. Not just New Life. They're not coming to any church.
We're not only representing our church.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, people determine what the majority is based off the minority.
Yep. I'm with you.
That's so frustrating.
I've set rules for my social media.
Do better. Come on.
It's not even that hard.
Oh,
you just don't have to post it. Just don't type it.
That's it.
Just don't do it. Just turn off the computer. Just go get ice.
Throw your phone out the window. How about that?
Oh, there's been some. I've typed the message real angrily, and I'm like, okay.
delete. Just if you have to, go to a Word document and write out what you have to, what you got to say. Just write it out, and then okay. I got it out there. Okay, now delete this.
That's get rid of it.
That's it. Done.
Get rid of it. You don't need it. And it's
man. Yeah, but it goes with any, and then not only political stuff. It goes any side of any argument. Unfortunately, there's two people screaming and nobody listening.
Right.
And that's all it is. And if we would do so much better if we can listen to each other and actually have a conversation, and still say, hey, I still don't believe what you believe, but I still love you, and I think it's just so important. We're talking about young adults, man. I think that's so huge.
Right.
Because not everybody is where I'm at. People are on a journey. People need to know that it's okay for them to have questions. It's okay for them to doubt sometimes. It's okay for them to be in a place where they don't know what's next. Maybe they say, you know what, I don't even know about this Jesus guy, but can I come still? Yes. Guess what? You may not believe. You may be in complete contrast of what I believe. But if I promise you stay in proximity with me, you're going to see Jesus and not only hear about him. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's so important for RYA. I tell my leaders all the time, I'm like, share your mess with your people. Share your mess. Because our mess is just an opportunity for their guard to be down.
Come on.
And they can be like, oh, you're human. You have the same issues that I have. Yo, you deal with porn? Like, dude, so do I. How can we fix this? Right? How can we grow out of this and get out of this? Like, there's so many things, man, that if we would just sit down, listen, and not shout at each other, like, I believe the young adults of this age are longing for conversation and an intimate relationship. That's what they long for. And I believe that, and that's one of the reasons why I really believe that we have had success at New Life, is because we've created a culture where we share our business fast. And we let them know, this is who I am. This is the mess that I'm in, but God is working on me and I'm still running after him.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? And you may not believe what I believe. I may not believe what you believe, but we're in a place where we can figure that thing out together. Yeah. And we're always pointing back to the word, and we're pointing people where they need to be. So, yeah, man, we got to stop shouting at each other and just listen to each other. Actually be like, as soon as somebody has a different idea about than what we have, it's almost like a trigger comes up that we have to defend our ideas. No, just listen. Listen and hear that person out. Because there might come a perspective that you don't even know about that maybe help you think in a different way, or be more empathetic towards that person or those that whatever they're going through. So it's important just to listen and just be there for people, because if not, we'll be in trouble if we keep on going the way that we are now, especially in the church.
Picture this scenario. You and I are having an argument right now.
Yeah.
You are 100% right, and I'm 100% wrong.
Yeah.
And we are shouting at each other at the top of our lungs.
Yep.
Whoever walks past us right now has no idea who's right and who's wrong. We look exactly the same.
Bro, say that again.
We look exactly the same.
Bunch of fools.
Because we look like people who are not two individuals of wisdom, and we are just shouting and not listening. And I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But to those people walking by and looking, they have no idea.
Exactly. The Proverbs even say multiple times about holding your tongue. There's a time for that. Even when you're right.
There's wisdom in silence.
Bro, even when you're right.
Wisdom in silence.
There is a point where you got to be like, I'm going to shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. So that's just important, man. We got to do better. And that's why with young adults, that's definitely a thing that we have. It's tough with them, but thankfully, like I said, we've been growing and we've got a place at YA that you can have your questions, you can have your problems, you can have disagreements, but we're family, and that's one of the beautiful things that I love about our group. Is like we are family, and when we mess up, we hold each other accountable, and we hold each other up, and we lift each other up and say, hey, listen, I've been there. Let me hold you up today because tomorrow it can be me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you may disagree with me. I may disagree with you, but we are still image bearers.
Right.
So let's just love on Jesus.
If you're going to look at me, I need you to see Jesus.
Come on.
I need you to see that. And I get it. I get what people say that when you see somebody on the internet, you're only seeing XYZ portion of their life. It's not the whole story.
Yeah.
I mean, I do see somebody put the whole story in there, and I completely disagree with that. I don't think you should do that.
Don't do that either.
I don't think that's wise.
Don't do that either.
But for however long I have you in that moment, I need you to be able to see Jesus.
Yeah.
I need you to be able to see that. And to the arguments, how did Jesus treat the Pharisees?
Come on. It was it's a little rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
How did he treat the woman at the well?
Come on.
How did he treat the tax collectors?
Let's go.
The model has been set for us to deal with people that we don't agree with or disagree with or like or don't like. Yeah. We're called to love them, which actually outranks all of that.
That's it. And that's the greatest commandment. And if we can't get that right, if we can't love right, that's the verse where if you can speak in 1,000 tongues, whatever, and it's just you're just noise. And if we can't get the love right, if we can't get our love right, the way we're supposed to love people, the way that we're supposed to treat people, and give them, the time, you know what I'm saying? It's if we can't get that right, we're not doing what God has called us to do. So it's so important that we see Jesus' example and we take it and we're saying, I want to love like that.
Right.
And that's like the slogan here at New Life Church is live like Jesus and share his love. And that's what we try to do everywhere we go. And I think that if the church body as a whole did that better, man, oh my goodness. And we're going to get it wrong because there's people that are going to get us angry. There's going to be people that we just don't want to love. But
yes,
we gotta make sure that we smile and say, you're an image bearer of Jesus Christ. So I'm going to love you. I love you. All right. I'm going to treat you like you're supposed to, like a child of God.
When people have made me mad lately, like in face-to-face time, I'm literally praying for them in my head. It's something I've started doing.
That's good.
Because
it's hard to be mad at somebody you're praying for.
Yeah, it's kept my hands in my pockets more than once.
Put those hands down. Put those hands down.
It's helped me. I like my job of being head of security. It's kind of nice. So we've talked a lot about like the young adult ministry.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the church. How do you make it so, or make the YAs feel that they're a part of the church as a whole, not just the young adult ministry? So how do you help them to buy into the vision of whatever local church they're a part of?
100%. So one thing I told you guys when we started, we were Heartbeat, right? We were called Heartbeat. And as we started growing, I started seeing that people were more devoted to Heartbeat than the church. And I was like, oh, we can't have that. I was like, we pastor gonna fire me real quick.
Before he notices.
I was like, let's change this real fast. So I had to make sure that we had to change the name. So we changed our name from Heartbeat to New Life Young Adults because I wanted to connect people back to the church. And we've done a good job of when somebody comes to YA, getting them connected with people that can help them serve immediately. And it can be something as easy as greeting at the door, right? If they want to do something a little bit more about helping with the kids ministry, there's a process that we can get them involved in that, worship, whatever the case may be. Pastor has said, many things. Like he says this phrase, and I forget where he got it from, but he's like, you can belong before you believe.
Right.
right? That's the thing that he's said before, and I stand on that, man. Like, you don't have to have your theology all like that to open up a door and say, hey, thank you for coming to New Life Church.
You don't.
You see what I'm saying? You don't have to. I mean, if we're talking about teaching the Word of God, then there's a different set of requirements there. But that's one of the things that we've done really, really well. I would say 80% of the YA that we have are plugged in somewhere at the church, whether it's small groups, whether it's serving in a specific ministry, worship, kids ministry, youth ministry. I mean, anywhere. They're connected somewhere in the church. So that's part of it. So if you give them responsibility, they feel like it's it's theirs. You know what I'm saying? It's not, hey, I go to this church. It's my church is New Life, right? It's not, I go to this church, New Life, then they have an amazing young adult group, and that's where I stay. Like, no, this is my church, New Life, and on Wednesdays we have young adult ministry. Like, that's what I want to hear every time somebody talks about New Life. When it comes to young adults and stuff, because I'll shut it down. I'll tell pastor, if they are more loyal to young adults than they are to the church, I'm sorry, this is not what this is about. We're about the local church. We're about the church as a whole. It's not about one ministry over another. This has to be like church first, and then the ministry is after that. So I'm passionate about that, man. I'm always pointing people back to pastor. That's another thing. Hey, you have a question I don't know, talk to pastor. You're worried about something that's going on in the church. I'll give you a little bit of information, but hey, here's pastor's information. Let's go talk to pastor. Mm-hmm. I'm constantly pushing people back to pastor, so that they know that this is not about me and Amanda. This is not about the leadership that we have in place. It's about the head pastor and the elders and everybody else, all the other leaders that we can push, that we all together lead this church. See what I'm saying? Pastor wouldn't be able to do it by himself. So we have to rally around him and the vision that he has for New Life, and then help others see that and say, man, if this is a place where you feel like you can grow and figure out what you believe and know what the Word of God says, we can do that. We can get you involved and get you connected here. And this is also a place for people just to sit and rest. I think that's one of the most beautiful things. I love talking to people that come maybe from a different ministry, a different church, or whatever the case may be, and they said that they're just drained. I'm like, okay, great. Right. Don't do anything for the next year and a half.
Just hang out.
You chill.
Just watch.
That's it.
Just sit there and watch.
And I love to give that opportunity to people, because that was never an opportunity that was given to me when I was, and been in ministry for so long. But I love to give that to people, and I know what burnout is. I know what all that stuff is. So, with young adults, it's teaching about local church is huge as well. Teaching about the local church, and I'm talking about the Acts 2 church, mm-hmm. right? That's super huge, and why the local church is important is super huge. We actually we did a sermon series called Heart for the House. That was a sermon series that we did early on. I actually probably should do it again, just to reiterate it. But yeah, Heart for the House was a sermon series that we taught about the importance of the local church and their part to play in the local church. Again, if you help people feel like that they have some responsibility that is theirs, they are so much more likely to stick around for the long haul, mm-hmm. even through their questions, even through their craziness, like whatever the case may be. They will stick around and feel I have people here that I can go to and ask questions and whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest thing. Making sure that we're pointing back to the church, getting them connected in connect groups, getting them connected with. I encourage young adults getting groups that are not YA.
Right.
Like, this is not the only place that you can get fed. There's other people that can do this for you,
Seriously,
there's other people that can do it, and there's other groups, and there's amazing Connect group leaders that'll pour into you, and so we're encouraging that, and another thing is getting the older generation to help disciple.
Yeah,
like that. It's so important that they see that people that are beyond their age actually care about what their life is about, actually care about how they're living, how their relationship with the Lord is. And that helps them. Like, not only do I have a community here with YA, but I also have people outside of YA that are just so excited to see me thrive, see me walk in whatever God has called me to do. And that just makes them feel like they're part of the community, and they feel like this is home. So that's one of the couple of things that we try our best to build that type of culture at YA and within the church and as a whole. So
I was sharing this with somebody. I think we had a leaders meeting a couple weeks ago for the Connect groups.
Yeah.
And I shared with someone afterwards. I said, it's important that the other leaders come alongside you in your ministry.
Yeah.
But come under your authority at the same time.
Yeah.
And I only spoke for myself.
Yeah.
I said, when I go to young adult,
it
is the epitome of the evangelist.
Yeah.
I show up. Thank God he allows me to pray for people.
Yeah.
He gives me a word for someone, and I may leave.
Yep.
But I'm under Jose and Amanda's authority in that.
Yeah, in the moment, yeah.
Because that's their ministry.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm an elder at New Life Church, which you are too. But I'm only using this as an example. So if I went to youth group, I come under the authority of Neff and Brenda
for sure,
for their mission and their vision and the call that God and the vision God gave them for that particular ministry. 100%. It's not my job to go in there and tell him
exactly
do this, and run it this way. God didn't give me that vision.
Exactly.
My role is to pray and play, support however I can.
Exactly.
And maybe my support isn't me being there. Maybe my support is just praying for you guys.
And that's it.
In my prayer closet.
Come on.
Or maybe it's inviting some of the young adults to one of my Connect groups or another Connect group.
Yeah.
What do we need to make the kingdom grow?
And that's it. And we have to be Swiss Army knives, bro.
Right.
We have to fit wherever we can and do whatever needs to be done to be able to help out and help the kingdom grow, man. Like, we can't be so, like, you've said this before. It's like, man, if I ever come to the point, dude, punch me. If I ever come to the point where I say, I'm not cleaning the toilets, the heck you think this is? Bro, because I've seen people do this.
Sit me down at that point.
Bro, and it's like, no, like, give me the brush. Like, listen, we all poop. I'm saying it I'm putting it on the pod. That's my poop there too. So I should clean it. Right?
I'm going to struggle to clean the toilet next time. I was doing fine until this episode. 12 plus years. I was fine until right now. You just became a stumbling block for me.
Bro, but it's true though. It's true. And it's just, if we ever get to the point where we can't say, whatever needs to get done, I'm here. If we feel like we are above anything that needs to be done, one of the most impactful thing I've ever seen Pastor do, he never said it to me, was a day that I came on a Wednesday and he was outside shoveling. Dude, makes me want to cry just thinking about it. And not only him, but my parents, my dad, literally cleaning toilets. The lead pastor, you know? Maybe we should have had some other help, but that's another story. But he was also...
Delegation.
You know? No, but he was also willing to say, that's not your toilet, that's not their toilet, that's the church's toilet. So guess what? We're going to clean it up, you know? And that's so, like, oh man, that's just so important for me that we would say, we got to do what we got to do to make it happen. So... whatever works.
This church used to be a mobile church. So we were at the Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
And when I first got to New Life, we had to set up and tear down.
Yeah.
Set up and tear down. It was one of the services we had to tear down. I'm probably freshly saved at this point.
Yeah.
And I think we had like a worship night. I watched Bob get off the stage. We're done. We're getting ready to tear down. He grabs one of those long brooms or the wide ones, and he's just he's sweeping the floor.
That's it.
And I'm looking at it, and I had never seen. I'm like, you're the head pastor. What are you doing,
dude?
That's what was going through my head because I was new in the Lord. I had no idea. But that's where my mentality came from, that no job is beneath me here.
Never.
There's only 2 jobs this church I have not done. Yeah. Sound and worship.
I'm glad for both.
I know. I could fake the sound part.
Woo! Man, I would love to hear that live stream.
There's 2.
I would love to hear that live stream.
I said nothing about live stream. I said sound. 3 jobs. We'll separate that. No,
got it.
That would be messed up.
Yes.
We would be off the internet.
Yeah.
No, you know what I do? I just take my cable and plug it into my phone.
Put some
Maverick City playlist.
Oh yeah, that's it. Pretend it's us.
Play.
That'd be nice.
Everybody on stage lip sync.
That'll save us some time and energy, brother.
But that's the truth. There has been, I don't care. I will be in the kids area if I need to.
Yeah.
I will.
It has to be passion, bro.
It doesn't matter. It really does.
Passion for the church, and that's one thing that I'm trying to install in the culture at YA is like, you gotta love the church, man.
Right.
And listen, I know the church has gone through some tough stuff in the most recent years with pastors wilding out, with people within the church hurting other people within the church. But we cannot discount the vehicle that God has chosen to spread the gospel because some people that represent Jesus, that say that represent Jesus, misrepresented him.
Right.
Because if you're talking about Jesus would never do what a lot of these people have done. And then in reality, if we look back on all the mess that we've done in our lives,
right,
who are we to say, oh, how could they?
Right.
Because we're all a mess. And that's why we need Jesus. That's why we need Jesus. So I feel like the Lord has, again, that judgmental spirit has had to be broken in my life because I've come to the realization that no one is a bigger mess than another. You know? No one is. And if we can get that under our, in our heart to know that, man, I was either there or I might get there. And I just pray but that the grace of God would cover me, you know? And that puts us in a position where we're like, you know what? I'm going to love you like Jesus loves you, no matter what. And I'm going to do whatever I can. So, yeah, man, we got to fall in love with the local church. And that's one thing that I thank God that I've had that passion for the local church for a long time. I've always been in love with it. But there was a moment that I wanted to give it all up. There was a moment where I was like, I'm done. I'm done with people. That was my biggest thing because people that represented Jesus misrepresented him. I was done with people saying they're about the local church and then seeing my dad have to do 12 jobs in the church of almost 200 people. I was tired of the response, or maybe lack of response, or lack of commitment to the local church when I was with my father. And there was some times where I would just look out there and I was like, why are we even doing this? Like, why do people even come to church? And ultimately it was because I was running on empty. I was running on empty. I wasn't being fed, and I wasn't feeding my soul. So because here's what happens when our soul is naturally meant to run on Jesus. So when we put other things, when we start feeding on other things, and then for all of a sudden those things are not meeting our needs, and those things are not filling us the way that we want them to, we feel malnourished, right? And what happens when we're malnourished? We get dehydrated, we get
so good,
jacked up, and eventually we are gonna collapse. And that's what happened to me, bro. I talked to my dad. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done leading worship. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. I talked to my wife, so I'm done. And I remember just sobbing. Sobbing, bro. I came home one day and my wife was cooking dinner and I was just having a bad day and I was just thinking about the church. I was thinking about so many things. And I remember coming home and putting a song that had just come out and just sobbing at the feet of Jesus at the floor. I was an absolute mess. I was a mess. I was on the floor in my living room, face to the hardwood floor. And that was where I felt Jesus was like, this is not about anybody else. He was like, you don't serve for anybody else. He's like, yeah, you want to serve the people around you, sure, but if the people are why you are serving, then you got it backwards.
So good. So good.
So it was that moment where God had to redirect why I fell in love with the church, because ultimately it's his bride. It's not because it's the church, but it's because of him, right? It's not because of the bride part. It's because it's his bride. That's the part, the his, right? That's why it's so important. And ever since then, I was like, man, God, I had to apologize. I had to tell my dad, I'm so sorry. And that's when I felt like I can talk about it. I told my dad what I was going through. I told my wife what I was going through. And that's what I would encourage anybody. If you are on the brink of burnout, you have to tell somebody. You have to talk to leaders. Whoever is your leader, you have to talk to them. Whoever you are accountable to, you have to talk to. You have to talk to somebody and let them know, listen, I am on the brink of burning out. What do I do? And as leaders, I hope they have the wisdom to say, you're not going to move one muscle for the next year and a half, how long the Lord says. You're going to sit and receive. Because I've noticed that we become so almost loyal to our leaders that we're afraid to ask for a break. We're afraid to say, like, dude, I can't do this anymore. And the church is not a place that we can just like tell people, hey, you're going to do this and this is how you serve the Lord. No. Yeah, we want you to serve in the local church, but ultimately you can't do that if you're not well. If you're not in a place to pour out, it's very difficult to do that day in and day out without eventually burning out. I'm sorry, that was a long answer.
I think one of the things, I'll add something to that, the leader has to also be praying for those folks.
They have to see it.
Because the leader should be able to see that they're stressing that person out, or they're stretching them, or they're 100%. Putting them in a position where they have no chance to succeed.
Come on.
You have to be very careful in ministry that you are not putting people in a position that they will not flourish in the kingdom.
You can't.
You have to know when and how to delegate. You have to know when to keep something to yourself and when to then pass it down to somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, I sit on the side of, if you can do something 70% as well as me, I go 70 to 80 only because I'm talking about training up other leaders.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you have to use some kind of wisdom.
For sure.
But you also have to know they look like they're stretched too thin.
Dude.
One of the things I tell folks, do not serve in more than 2 Sunday morning ministries. You have to sit down. You have to sit down. Because now it's going to come punch the clock.
Bro.
Every Sunday I got to come to church. I got something to do. You're punching the clock.
Dude, you shouldn't. And that's what I'm saying. Like for me, because I did not do the due diligence of training before, like early on when I started at New Life, that's the issue that we're having now. Thankfully, we've come to the point where we first started, me and Amanda were on every week. Mm-hmm. Now, Amanda, it was me every week, but Amanda on 3 weeks. Now, me every week, but Amanda had 2. And now we've thankfully got to the point where me every week, but Amanda at 1 week. and now it's my turn.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Now, and since then, we've been building up people so that now I'm at 3 weeks. See what I'm saying? Yep. Now I'm at just 3 weeks a month, and it keeps on going down. But there are people that back in the day, or not even like even now, that I've seen. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you so stressed out? And I've had to tell them, if you serving at a ministry is stressing you out, something's wrong.
Something is wrong.
Something is wrong. And I've apologized to people. I was like, I'm sorry if I haven't seen it. But this is where I would literally have to force people to, hey, you're not doing 3 weeks this year. You're doing only 2 weeks a month, and that's it. Right? And that's where we had to kind of work things out. But that, like you said, the leadership part is so important, to be able to see that and to be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do what it takes to make sure that my people are good. Because if you take care of your people, man, that's what, like the business side of things, right? If you take care of your people, the people will take care of you.
100%. Right?
And if you take care of your people, if you feel like they're valued and they're not just somebody that you can use so that your ministry can get better, no. Right? If you can really value their opinions, really value what they bring to the table, and not only that, value their time, right? Value their commitments, value their families. People say, hey, Jose, I can't come on Sunday because it happened to me recently. Somebody was like, hey, I can't come to Sunday because I can't sing on Sunday because my kid has this, and this. I was like, bro, why are you apologizing?
Yeah.
Like, you're good. Go ahead. Like,
right.
Take care of your family. Do what you got to do. And, and it's just so important to have a culture that's not so strict that people feel like they can't take breaks. I've told my worship team, especially because worship team is such a heavy, that's 2 nights a week. You know what I'm saying? That's just that ministry is 2 nights a week because of rehearsal and the actual Sunday. And I've told people, I say, you need a month off? Come give me a call. I would never say no. I'm not going to say no. And I think we're getting to that point where people are actually taking me up on that offer. And it's a beautiful thing, because now I can see people rest and relax, still serve somewhere else. They could serve on the welcome team once a month or whatever, still love their church, but be able to get to a place where, like, you know what, now I can pour out again. Let's go. Let's do this, And that's why it's so important to be connected in spirit and say, like, Holy Spirit, show me. Right. Show me what's happening in my team, and how can I help them grow and not burn them out, because burnout is not fun.
No.
It is not fun.
No, it's not.
Not at all.
Your no validates your yes.
Come on.
So if I know I'm committed to be here on Sunday morning, for example, I'm going to guard my Saturday night.
That's right.
So I'm in a position to be here on Sunday. Yeah. And I started sitting in the outreach team. I had a lot of people at servants' hearts, and they didn't know how to say no. I had to teach them how to say no.
Oh, listen, for PK, that is the word that we don't understand. We don't know what that means.
And I will tell you, they didn't either. And none of them were pastors' kids.
Tell you, man, it's tough.
And I'm like, you guys are in so many other ministries.
Yeah.
And you're getting stretched way too thin, and I'm starting to see it.
Yeah.
You need to start telling people no.
For sure.
But it backfired, because they started telling me no. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait.
This is not what I meant.
I need you.
I'm like, it's time to expand the outreach team.
That's funny. That's great. That is great.
They did exactly what I told them to, in my direction.
Wow.
And I think I was asking the least.
All right.
Sorry, it happens.
Hey, no, it's all
it
good.
happens.
But no, like you said, it's important to. They even say, like, I listen to a lot of Craig Groeschel stuff, and his one of his books, he always says that when it comes to your no, when you're saying no, you're actually saying yes to something else.
Exactly. 100%.
And when you say yes, you're actually saying no to something
100%.
else. So you have to protect what you say yes to, and protect and use your no's strategically, so that your yeses can be full committal yeses.
100%.
So yeah, we got to teach. We got to continue to teach especially young people, like they feel like they can take on the world. But I was like, man, you don't want to do that. Yeah, you want to be able to start and learn pace. Right. Learn pace, because you'll get to where I was and just be completely burnt out and say, I don't want to do church anymore.
Right.
So yeah, it's important to, as leaders and as volunteers, to recognize where we're at, be real with each other.
Come on.
Be real and say, you know what, I'm struggling. I can't do this. Okay, let's get you to a place where you can and keep on moving. So yeah, it's important.
To whatever degree you want to dive into this.
Yeah.
Because accountability is what's kept me.
Wow.
One of the things that's kept me, I'll say.
Yeah.
Because, I'm only talking about this from the burnout piece, because when I've gotten to that place, I've gone to Pastor Bob and I said, I'm approaching burnout right now. I'm approaching this piece. And I always can tell the exact date when it's about to creep in. It's right before the Christmas store. It is right before the Christmas store.
And you want to do 1,000 this year? Come on, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm planning it now. I'm actually going to do a Christmas in July to start prepping for it.
Smart.
Like, I have a plan.
Smart.
We'll see if it works, though. We'll see if it works.
Let's see.
If we start collecting the toys in May, we can make that happen.
Let's do it.
We can make that happen.
Let's do it.
So there's a plan there. That doesn't mean I won't be burned out because December 15th. But I had somebody I could go talk to say, look, I'm stressed out.
For sure.
I need you to, and I'm mad about X, Y, or Z. You need those people in life you can keep it real with. So to whatever degree you want to talk about it, why is accountability important in the kingdom?
As this train passes by, I'll just wait for that to go.
Wow, this might take up the rest of the episode. This is that Lakewood train.
Dude, that's the Lakewood train. All right, it's passing. It's passing. Gives me time to think about the answer.
Go ahead.
So accountability. Accountability has been everything for my life. When you come to a point in your life where you feel like you can do things on your own, you're in very, very dangerous waters. You are in a position where you're easily picked off. Like the enemy wants you to feel alone and wants you to be alone. He wants you to be in a place where you feel like your own strength is enough. And as believers, we cannot feed into that. We cannot accept that lie. We can't. Because it is so... Accountability it saved my marriage. It kept me when I felt like I was just going to just unravel. And not only that, it has kept me to be integratable. And that's like that's one of the things I really value, especially like even with my father. He's always talking about integrity, being a man of integrity. And that's one thing that I didn't know how to cope with because I had to always be perfect, right? And then as soon as I wasn't perfect, I felt like I was the lowest of lows, but I didn't know how to talk to nobody because I wasn't taught accountability. I wasn't taught that you can actually bring another person that is not God, your problems, and you guys can pray about it together. I wasn't taught that, Unfortunately, as a pastor's kid, I can talk about pastor's kids because that's most of my life. We were taught, you put a mask on, don't let nobody in, because once somebody knows about the issues that you have, that means that's the issues that the pastor has. That's the issue of the pastor's household. So you have to protect that all over the cost of you maybe unraveling, at the cost of you unraveling. And that was, unfortunately, that was the way that we thought, at least for myself. So when it came to accountability, when I finally understood I can tell people stuff. I can actually be real with people and they're not going to shun me. They're not going to use it as ammunition for something in the future, obviously you got to pick your people. You got to pick the right people. When I found those people, that opened up I feel like it opened up a new freedom that I'd never had before. That I can walk in my humanness and see and not be judged for it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And not be humiliated for it. But the beautiful thing about the people that I have accountability with is that I tell them, hey, these are my issues. This is what I've dealt with in the past. This is what I deal with now. I need you to help me stay in my lane. And that's where humility needs to come into the place where you're like, you have to have people that can check you at any moment in time.
Right.
If I'm out of pocket, I know I'm going to have 5 guys down my throat to tell me, hey, you were wrong. You shouldn't have done this. What the heck is going on? What are you doing?
Right.
They know how I want to live my life. I tell them, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to protect myself. I need you to help me out. And they know if there's something that looks different than what I've told them, they know something's up. So I'm accountable to them. And I'm able to say, listen, you have this authority in my life to check me in any time. And that's why it's so important that for young leaders, and I'm going to talk to men first, men, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to have accountability. You have to have your crew, your people around you that you can be real with. 100% real. Like, not pulling back anything. Those people, you need to have those people, because if you don't, the enemy's just waiting to have you by yourself. He's like, okay, that's the one friendship that he didn't want accountability, so that person's gone. Oh, here's another one. Okay, beautiful. He's finally by himself. Now I can attack.
Right.
Now I can do what I want to do with his life. And it has literally saved my life, bro. It has caused me to reevaluate what is true, what is right, what my commitments are, what I'm willing to sacrifice. Like there was before accountability, I was like, I'm not going to sacrifice that for what? But once I got accountability, they were like, if you don't sacrifice this, you're going to be in a lot of trouble in the future. And it was a way for them to help me grow. And I have these people around me, people in place that I can tell, this is what I'm going through. I need you to pray for me. Yo, I had some horrible thoughts yesterday. I need you to pray for me. You know, I can call at any time in the moment. I'm calling Eric because, he's awake at 3 a.m. So I can call Eric and say, Eric, this is what I'm going through. I need you to pray for me. I can call Pastor. I can call Neff. I can call Kyle. And I can, at this point in my life, I can call my father. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Pops, this is what I'm going through. I need this. I need some help. And ultimately, before any of y'all, I'm more accountable to my wife. Even more so, So my wife knows everything. And we can be so quick to be like, I'm a macho man. I don't need nobody else. I can do this by myself. Stop kidding yourself. Stop kidding yourself. You're so much weaker than you think.
100%. 100%.
And if we can really come to the point where we really, and this is a hard thing. It's funny, I just heard this the other day. It's one of the hardest things for a man to say to another man is, I need you. Bro. There are people, and I know there are people, young adults, I know there are men in this church that are dying on the inside because they cannot say, I need you. Bro. Makes me want to cry.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. However strong you think you are, you're wrong. You're
100%.
Dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
100%.
Because we're diving into spiritual warfare.
Dude.
Piece of that. Because if I'm going to take somebody out, I'm not going to take them out in a group.
Heck no.
I'm going to wait until they're vulnerable. I'm going to wait until they're isolated. I'm going to wait. I'm going to slowly pick at them.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go get them.
Of course.
Accountability has literally kept me in the kingdom.
That's good.
It has literally kept me in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Being able just to tell people, I need you.
Yeah.
And when you see me looking like this, I'm telling you right now, I'm in trouble.
Dude, they should know the warning signs. That's how close we should be.
They should know the warning signs.
You know what I'm saying? It's just true. It's true, Eric. And
Pastor Bob knows my warning signs.
Yo.
He does.
That's it.
Because he has to. I'm like, I submit to your authority. You need to know, look, listen, I'm weak in these areas.
Bro.
And I struggle in these areas.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I just need you to know this 100%. Is what's going on with me.
And being willing to, like I said, you have to have enough humility to say, I may not even agree with you. Like, if I'm accountable to you and you say, Jose, you did this wrong. You should not be here. You should not go to that place.
Right.
And if I believe that you're wrong, if I believe I'm under, if I'm going to be submitted to somebody, if I've given them that authority over my life, I have to be like, okay, I may not agree with you one bit, but I'm gonna submit to what you say, and there's so much power, man. There's so much wisdom in counsel, and we can get so easily wrapped up with I, and we can lose the power of we.
I have noticed that in my life, and I'm talking about the accountability piece of this, when I was in control of my life, I was ready to take my own life.
Bro.
So that's to the degree that I was wrong.
Yeah.
That, I can handle this.
Yep.
Oh, just a little bit here.
Yep.
Oh, just a little bit more here. Just a little bit here. And before you know it, this was the start, and now I'm all the way over here.
Come on.
I'm miles from where I started. And it happened so incrementally that's how I almost got took out.
Wow.
That's how it happened. Because
you drift.
Yeah. You drift slowly.
You don't even know you're drifting.
Yeah.
You don't even know you're drifting. There's that sideways drift. I remember being in Corpus Christi when I was in Texas. I may have pronounced that wrong. Sorry for all my Texas folk. But I remember standing, playing with my family where we started. And by the end of the day, we were almost a mile down the beach, bro. Never knew. Did not even have a clue because the current is slow. And that's what the enemy does. The enemy will make you believe that you have control. He'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to attack them today. Oh, they made a mistake? Okay, we're cool. I'm not gonna pounce on them today. They have control right now. They're good. And then they'll do it again. Oh, they went into a bar, but they didn't drink. We're good. Okay, they feel like they have control. I'm gonna wait for the 100th time, and on the 100th time, I'm gonna get them.
Right.
Yo, the devil's patient. The enemy be patient with us, because he knows if I can get them comfortable, then I got them where I want them. And if we can get people around us that say, bro, that's not a good look. You shouldn't do that. Yeah, I know you're friends, but you shouldn't be at her house super late. I know you're cool, but that's probably not a good idea. Or, bro, we can go a list on and on and on and on. You know, but I think it's so important. Men, I feel like we've just, even throughout the years, we have done men a disservice to think that they can handle so much by themselves.
Right.
And that's the narrative, right? Men, you got to do it. You got to put up your bootstraps and just get it done, and never ask for help. We can't ask for directions because that's a notch on your man card, right? You can't feel vulnerable because that's a notch on your man card. They'll take it away real quick. And it's so sad. And again, because the reason why I know this is because I was that guy. I didn't know how to be vulnerable. I didn't know what it meant to put my guard down and tell somebody that I cried last night. You know? And we need each other. I pray whoever is listening to this, you need to find the person that maybe you don't even want that's the way that I think John Bevere says it. He said, find the person that you least want to know what happened and tell them what's going on so that you can move forward and grow and have them keep you accountable. We have to make the narrative of I need you like normal. We have to make that normal. Because there's no way that we're able to walk this race by ourselves. There's no way. I have my own race that I have to walk, but the beautiful thing is that I got people around me that are able to pick me up when I fall. Like, hold me up when I feel like I'm going to quit. And push me, give me encouragement when I'm down. And protect me when there's a hurdle up front.
Right.
So accountability is so important in my life. And I want to say ultimately my wife is the most person I'm accountable to off rip. She has all my passwords. She knows everything. She knows everything about everything. She can dig into whatever. I don't hold anything back from her because I want that accountability because I know myself.
Right.
I'm not dumb. Like, I know who I am. I know who I've been. You know? Why would I try to make it think like I can pull this off by myself, like she can't help me? No, but 100%, she's the person that I want to be accountable to the most. And then to everybody else, of course, God is the most important, then the wife, and then my boys and everything else like that. So that's how it has to flow, and accountability has to be important in our lives. If we want to grow, the way that I always see it is that like when you're building a building, if you want to go tall, you have to build out wide, right? You got to build out wide first. Like when you're building a Lego or whatever, you have to build out wide first so that it can go higher. So if you try to do it one single person and then like one block and then try to do one block on top of one block, it's not going to work. You have to go wide first. You have to have a foundation of people that you can say, I need y'all. Let's go big. Let's grow big. And then you have huge buildings like that we have today. And I believe God is wanting big buildings of men that could step up and say, you know what, I can't do this by myself. I need accountability. Let's grow together. And I think that'll save so many people, so much heartache.
One of the things I said about you recently, I don't remember where I was at this point, but I said, Jose taught me something a while ago. He taught me that it was okay to cry again.
Yeah.
Because I probably went years without shedding tears. Years. Just because of how hardened my life got. And how hard, I think the choices I made and how hard my life got and the choices I made just made me, I had to have that outer shell of that. And I said, you know what? He really showed me it's okay to cry again.
Yeah.
And it's okay to let people see that because they need to see that so they know that it's okay.
Exactly.
If they see me as steel, they're going to think that that's because we're more impressionable than we want to admit.
100%.
We're more vulnerable than we want to admit. So that's why we harden to protect ourselves. In some cases, not all, it's a defense mechanism.
Of course.
So I'm only speaking of a certain situation.
Yeah.
But I said he taught me the importance of just letting it out.
Yeah.
And knowing when to do that.
For sure. Yeah, you got to pick those places.
Right.
100%, but not being afraid to do so is crazy. I got that from my dad.
Yeah.
Me and my dad, we wear our emotions on our sleeves, and when something touches us, or when we feel passionate about something, we're gonna cry about it. If we're angry, we're gonna cry about it. We may not yell, but we'll cry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that just needs to be more normalized. Let it out, guys.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to shed the tears. I always feel better after a good cry, you know? And I think we as men, we need to teach our children that. Mm-hmm. We need to teach our kids that we don't have to have it all together. We can be vulnerable. We can be a people that, a group of people, a group of men that show that we may, that there's power in the tears. There is power in that, man. There's so much that we can learn when we are vulnerable and able to let out what we're feeling on the inside, and not always keep it in, and
right,
to hide it from other people.
The other thing about accountability that really registers to me is that it is that safeguard.
Yeah.
Because Andy Stanley has that series called Guardrails.
Guardrails, yeah,
he has it. And if wherever your weakness is,
bro,
you have to be so far away from it.
Bro.
But I always say, I've got people in place before I go over that edge.
That's good.
Before I even get to the guardrail, there's somebody there to stop me.
Yeah.
And I've been grateful for you and Neff and Pastor Bob and the people that I've had to be like, yo, you're off kilter here.
Yeah.
We all need that.
Of course. We have to.
We all need it. Because Jesus didn't walk this earth alone.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So why would I think I can do it?
Exactly. He had his crew, man. And that's what I even taught with anytime we teach about connect groups. That's why I think connect groups are so powerful, is that you are putting yourself around people that may have the same story, may have a completely different story than you, but they're looking for people to live out this life with, and grow together. And no matter what is happening, they can say, hey, I need you to help me in this. It's a scary thing to ask for help. It is. But if we can do that, if we can do it properly and we do it with the right people, that's the most important, man. Don't be just giving accountability to a bunch of people that don't know or are not in a position to do it. You want to have the right people by your side. It helps. It helps along the way. That way, I know how far I can go, because I know myself. I know how far I can go, and that's a beautiful thing. I love that. At the line where I know how far I can go, you got to step a little bit closer and then put a guy there.
Yeah.
So you can't go past here. This is too close to the line, too close. And it's a beautiful thing that we've been able to find that. Not a lot of people have been able to find that, and I pray that those that are listening, those that are looking for that, they can find that soon.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we've been sitting here for like 4 hours,
bro.
And honestly, I feel like I can just talk to you all day.
All day.
I feel like I could easily just scrap these questions, sit here and talk to you. When I bring you back, there's not going to be any questions. Okay. Just an FYI. This is just so people get to know you.
Got it.
But I ask every guest on the show these questions.
Okay.
What motivates you?
Oh, man. See, the crying part's going to come out.
It's all right.
My goodness. God has just been so merciful. God has been so merciful, dude. Just to think that there's a God that with his words, with just a word, he created everything that's seen and everything that's unseen. And that he is not only in his grandeur, that he's also intimate. It boggles my mind every day that God cares for us. And my whole life has been literally, and I know everybody, everybody is the same, but I have so much like evidence for the guidance of the Father. And it has absolutely, it's the reason why I do what I do. It's the reason why I do what I do, is because I've seen Christ work in my life from a young age and use a poor Puerto Rican kid to reach people for Jesus, to be in a position now where he's able to influence young minds, young hearts for Jesus. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And I've been forever grateful and forever confused why God would use someone like me. And ultimately that is where a lot of my my drive comes from, is to know what the Lord has done in me. And I want to inspire others to meet that Jesus that met me when I was on that floor that day, crying out because I didn't want to keep going. I just wanted to stop. I was like, I'm done with this stuff. And that's who I want people to meet, because I know what he can do for their lives. And my family, we've seen God so much. And yeah, we forgot the tissues, bro. You should have known, dude. You should have known.
There's a box right behind you. There we go.
We're good. We're good. You know, my family, we've grown up in the church, and we've seen God just do amazing things. And I've seen God over and over and over just put the pieces together. And I'm just like, how did he just do that? When we were at a crossroads, when we didn't know what to do next, where it was the darkest moments of our lives in our family, and God just put the pieces together. And he said, I'm still going to use you. In my mess, bro, me trying to keep things together, God said, I'm still going to use you. Just like, oh man, that is, again, so grateful but so confused. And I can't thank him enough. And that's why I've dedicated my life to him. And that's why I say, wherever you go, I'm going to follow you, God. Even when I'm scared, even when I don't know what to do, even when I feel like I don't have the answers, even though I still, even to this day, feel unqualified for what he's doing, I still am going to follow him. And he said, I'm still going to use you. And that's the beauty of our God. He doesn't need our permission. He's like, I don't care. I don't care what you think about yourself. I know what I've created.
That's good.
And I know what's inside of you. And I know where you're going. So follow me and I'll take you there. So I've come to a new trust with the Lord that I think that's come alive now more than ever. And ultimately after the Lord, you know, and seeing people just come to know him is my family, man. My wife, Amanda, is the most incredible woman in the world. And she's so devoted, so talented in everything that she does. She's the most caring woman I've ever met. And she's my partner. And that's super huge. And having my boys, trying to teach them, you know, how to not only love the church, but how to love my wife well. That's another thing that I want them to see that. I want them to know what that looks like, how to do both well. It was funny the other day, Amanda was laying on the couch, and AJ said, "Don't worry, don't get up, Mom. Dad is going to take us so that you can rest." And the funny thing is, I almost cried because I've told him, I'm going to take you to bed today because we want to let Mom rest.
Right.
And he's picking up on it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. He's like, also, serving your wife is another, you know, it's, man, like those are the things that drive me, man. I the Lord, and I want my family and my boys to see that we can do both well, and thankfully I've tried my best. There's so many things that I can grow in, but those are the things that I really that really push me to do everything that I do.
I think you just answered both of those. What motivates you and why do you do it?
Sorry.
No, that's good.
There you go.
That's good. Unfortunately, that brings me to the final segment of this podcast, this 4-hour podcast. We should run this back.
Bro.
We need to run this back.
I am here for it, man.
We need to run this back.
I am here for it.
I got some ideas.
Let's
I don't
go.
have any ideas. I made that up.
Okay, got it.
We'll come up with something else.
It's okay. He's lying on his podcast. No big deal.
I'll repent later. My accountability part has failed miserably. This is our Let 'em Know segment.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to share with the audience, whether it be a Bible verse, word of encouragement, upcoming event, anything, whatever it is, sir, let them know.
Let me tell you something. For those that are watching, you don't have to have it all together.
Come on.
You do not have it all together. Just period. God is not asking for you to have it all together. He's asking for your yes. He's asking for direction. If you can point your life towards me, I can do the rest. So if you are struggling, trying to figure out, man, should I even go back to church? Should I find an accountability partner? Listen, don't try to fix your life first before you get here. Don't try to fix your life before you ask somebody for help. It's okay to come broken because he is the one that can restore all things to new. So we love you. Thank you so much for having me, dude. You're the bomb.
Anytime, man. Anytime. To that, if I could do it myself, what do I need Jesus for?
Come on. Done.
I don't have it all together.
Done.
That's why when they talk about like Christians are being hypocrites. I know I need a savior.
That's the reason why we're here.
That's why I'm here, because I know I've fallen short. And unfortunately, I remember all the times that I fell short. Yeah. And if I don't remember, somebody usually reminds me.
Come on, man. That's why we gotta not have short memories, because we have to know where we've been.
Right.
But we have to not let that stop us from moving forward and just continue to grow. And let the Lord do what he has to do. No one's going to come to this place perfect. No one's going to leave perfect, which is a beautiful thing as well. We're not striving for perfection. We're striving for direction.
Right.
Get you in the right direction. Point you to Jesus.
Right.
And let Jesus do the changing.
Come on.
Right? So you don't need to have it all together, everybody.
We got Jesus.
We got Jesus. He did it for us.
Sir, would you mind close us out in prayer before we end this
I would be honored, bro.
Thank you.
Just want to say before, thank you again, dude. So proud of you. This is crazy, man. So I'm super excited for what the Lord has next. We're going to continue to pray for just open doors.
Thank you.
For you and whatever the Lord has next. So let's pray.
That lines up, because I've been praying for open doors.
That's it.
I've been praying for it. I've been praying for expanded territory.
More opportunities. We believe in. Expand those nets, those tents. So, Father, wow, God, we've been here and we've been able to talk for a while, God, and I just thank you so much for the opportunity just to come together and laugh, cry, get angry, but ultimately, Lord, just to spend some time with this brother, this man of God, and I thank you that we're able to know that you came to the table with us, that you showed up. And I know, and I pray actually that someone, anybody that is listening, that at least one person would get something out of what we talked about today. Lord, I pray that we would know that the most important thing that we need is you. You are all that we need. Everything else is secondary. So Father, I pray for Eric and Redwood, Lord. I pray that you would expand their territory, Lord. I pray that you would expand its influence, Lord. I pray that you would bring even more people for the podcast, that he would have just an absolute just an expansion of what he's doing here, Lord. I pray for blessing upon blessing, Lord. I pray for all the finances to get everything done, Lord. I pray that you just blow his mind in this next season on what you are going to do for him and through him, Lord. I just thank you for him, and I pray that you just bless him mightily, Lord. Thank you for his friendship for me and his accountability for me, God, and what that means for us, Lord. So I thank you so much for all that you've done today, and I pray that somebody is blessed. And we ask for all these things. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
My brother, thank you for being on here today. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. We're going to have to get you back.
Whenever, bro.
Need you to get on here and preach something for him.
Oh, no. I ain't preaching. I ain't preaching.
All right. I'll pretend like that won't happen. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yep.